Hey, welcome back guys. This is my 2025 Azerbaijan Grand Prix driver ratings. Azerbaijan. Enjoy! As usual, let's kick things off with Gabriel Bortoleto. Started 13th, finished 11th. I'm giving him an 8 out of 10. He out-qualified Hockenberg once again, and he barely missed out on the points by one spot, but he was like 30 seconds off. Either way, incredible drive from Gabby here, and 8 is very well deserved. Now moving on to his teammate, Nico Hülkenberg. Okay, wait, not yet. Now, next up, Nico Hülkenberg. Started 17th, finished 16th. 4 out of 10. This weekend he was literally nowhere. He had a tangle with Esteban at the beginning. I think that's all I can say. I've literally did not see him the entire weekend. Knocked out in Q1 again. Got qualified by Gabby. It's like ever since he got the podium, his form has dipped significantly. He hasn't scored any points since then. Next up, Alex Albon. Started 19th, finished 30th. 6 out of 10. I can't really remember what happened during quali and why he qualified so badly. He could barely climb in the race, unfortunately. He must be kicking himself seeing what Carlos achieved. But still, great sportsmanship by him to celebrate with Sainz despite not even scoring any points. Honestly, if Albon qualified better, who knows, he might have been the one on the podium. Or maybe a double Williams podium. Now, Carlos Sainz. Started second, finished third. It's 10 out of 10 drive from him this week, man. Carlos Sainz has a podium in a Williams, and unfortunately, it's before Hamilton and the Ferrari. I know it was the constant red flags and tricky conditions that got him the P2 in qualifying, but he did put in the lap, didn't he? And more impressively, he managed to stick onto the podium all the way to the end of the race, only letting Russell pass. Like, still, bro, come on. He deserves the credit, man. Next up, Isaac Hadjar. Started 8th, finished 10th. 7.5 out of 10. He's doing nothing wrong, but he finished last of the Red Bull drivers this weekend, despite scoring a point, which is a tough reality. Well, the Red Bull drivers all did well this weekend, so congrats to them. In case you don't know what Red Bull drivers means, are the Red Bull drivers and the RB drivers. Let's just clear it up for those viewers who don't understand. Okay, moving on to his teammate, Liam Lawson. Started 3rd, finished 5th. As you can see, it's a perfect 10 out of 10 again for Liam Lawson. Seems like he's finally gotten his form back. A top 3 in qualifying and was battling Tsunoda for 5th and eventually finished ahead. And it's a solid 10 points from him. So great job, Liam. So we're finally seeing the version of him we saw from him last year when he became a super sub. So we're hoping that Lawson can put in more spectacular performances like this. Next up, Ollie Behrman. Started 15th, finished 12th. 5.5 out of 10. I guess all I can say is he did better than Ocon, but low-key he was nowhere, man. Guys, you should like to bring back sound effects. Now, Esteban Ocon. Started 20th, finished 14th. 5.5 out of 10. Great penalty to cause him to start last. He slowly improved and climbed, but not much, honestly. And he also had an entangle with Nico at the start, and because of that, I think he pitted twice under the safety car. I'm not sure why twice though. Anyway, let's try out some music. Okay, I'm broke. I'm not using any more free trials. Anyway, Franco Colapinto started 16th, finished 19th. 3 out of 10. He out-qualified Gasly by quite a margin this weekend, but then he finished behind Pierre, which was the last of the finishers essentially. Honestly, I don't know why he can qualify so well but finish behind Gasly. I'm not sure if team orders were into play because Alpines were at the back, so not much was shown of them. Speaking of which, the next Alpine driver, Pierre Gasly, started 18th, finished 18th. 3 out of 10. Honestly, Alpine just slow this weekend, but he qualified behind Colapinto. But yet he finished ahead. But still, they were the last two. So many buts in a sentence, bro. Anyway, Last time, Gasly still managed to extract about 20 points out of the car. But then recently, he couldn't even take a single point out of the car. And he couldn't even escape the bottom two, man. Now moving on to the Aston Martins, starting with Lance Stroll. Started 14th, finished 17th. 3.5 out of 10 for him. Slower than Alonso, that's all I can say. And he's just slow. This weekend he was pretty much nowhere. So let's see, the only drivers he finished ahead was Oscar, who DNF'd. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched the video. And the two Alpines. Okay, next, other Aston Martin driver, Fernando Alonso. Started 11th, finished 15th. 5 out of 10. The Aston Martin is just slow this weekend, I can conclude. Him barely missing out of Q3 is already making me question how he did it, considering the pace of Aston Martin this weekend. And then the race, as expected, he will fall behind a bit. Honestly, if he even kept inside the top 11, it's honestly a miracle, man. Kimi Antonelli's up next, started 4th, finished 4th. I'm going to give him a 9.5 out of 10. He qualified ahead of Russell by 1 position, but fell behind and barely off the podium in 4th. But still, it was a good comeback for him considering his last few races. Not comeback in the race, but comeback for his season. And the reason I'm not giving him a 10 is because if Russell can get on the podium with feeling unwell, why can't Kimi? But all credits to Carlos for the podium. George Russell is the next driver we're rating. Started 5th, finished 2nd. 10 out of 10 drive from him. Qualifying was meh, but his teammate... My bad. Behind his teammate in qualifying, but the race was sensational. While dealing with all of this, he was also feeling unwell, so what he did makes it even more incredible. I heard Toto Wolff was saying that he might even put Bottas in the car if Russell was really feeling unwell. That would be funny, seeing the 5-place grid penalty you have to serve. Yuki Tsunoda started 6th, finished 6th. I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10. Yuki was fighting near the top 5 for the first time in a while, and he's got some good points in the Red Bull. So maybe a sign of things to come, and it shows that he's finally clicking with the car. Unfortunately, he cannot be any higher than this because his teammate Max Verstappen, obviously with a Grand Slam. We'll get onto him in a bit. But for Yuki Tsunoda, honestly, if he can keep this up, he'll be doing great. And who knows, Red Bull can maybe jump Ferrari in the constructors. Maybe Mercedes as well if they're lucky. Okay, speaking of which, Max Verstappen, as I mentioned earlier, started first, finished first. 10 out of 10 again. Grand Slam number 6 for him. I believe he is tied with Hamilton or overtaken Hamilton with this now. And honestly, his mindset of going race by race is great. And lo and behold, Max is only 44 points away from Lando and 69 away from Oscar. Championship back on. Totally. Championship's totally back on, guys. Lewis Hamilton, the first Ferrari driver to be rated. Started 12th, finished 8th. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. He led another Ferrari 123 practice, which is good, I guess. And then he proceeds to get eliminated in Q2. But he did recover to P8, but in front of his teammate. Again, this is like last year where he qualified worse than Russell by quite a margin. And then he ends up in front of Russell in the race. This time it's with Charles. Speaking of which, Charles Leclerc started 10th, finished 9th. I'm only going to give him a 5 out of 10 this weekend. I was just talking about him getting 4 poles in a row, man. And what happens here? He crashed in qualifying. Sorry, Charles Leclerc fans, I jinxed it. Bro, Ferrari's gonna fumble, bro. We have 2 great drivers, but they're fumbling. They are followed by Oscar Piastri, started 9th and DNF'd. I was considering giving him a 0, but out of sympathy, 1 out of 10. He crashed in both qualifying and the race. The only thing he did well was probably Q3, and then he crashed in Q3. He literally achieved nothing this weekend, and he also had a jump start and then crashed a few corners later. It's the worst performance of his career so far, in my opinion. He's lucky that he doesn't carry a penalty going to the next race for the jump start. And finally, Lando Norris started 7th, finished 7th. 5.5 out of 10. I'm disappointed in him, man. When he had an engine failure, Piastri capitalized it with a win. But when Piastri crashed, he bottled and only gained 6 points. So now, Verstappen has gained on him instead of him gaining on Oscar. Just crazy, you know. Honestly, I feel like demoting him even more, but still. Points is points. My driver ratings rankings goes like this. In first, obviously, is Verstappen with a 10 out of 10 with the Grand Slam. In second is Sainz with a 10 out of 10 as well with his first podium with Williams. In third is also Russell, another podium sitter with 10 out of 10. And in fourth is our final 10 out of 10 of Lawson. Fifth goes to Antonelli with a 9.5. 6 and 7 is Tsunoda and Bortoleto with 8. Hard driver 7.5 goes to 8th. Hamilton and Albon with 6 goes to 9th and 10th. 11th and 12th with 5.5 is Norris and Behrman. Leclerc, Alonso with 5, both of them, 13th and 14th. Ocon is 4.5 with 15th. Hülkenberg has a score of 4 with 16th. 17th goes to Stroll with a score of 3.5. 18th and 19th are the Alpine duo of Colapinto and Gasly with a score of 3. And in dead last, unfortunately, Piastri with a score of 1 out of 10. This is weird to see considering that you usually see Piastri at the top and not the bottom. It's the lowest score I've ever gave him and the lowest grade as well. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!